Is there like any practical ways that you could like example of how you think DAOs could actually like change an entire industry? I know you've probably thought of millions of ways, but is there one that is like, you're like in the next 5 to 10 years, DAOs could completely change this industry and we could completely be doing something different?
Yeah, so I think specifically with music, so you have what are called what are called creator DAOs, and this is kind of I'm kind of like I'm kind of like gonna be like weaving in NFT, like kind of like like traditional NFTs with
Hmm.
DAOs. You have like what are called creator DAOs, which are kind of like DAOs that are kind of centered around maybe some kind of creator. And I think what we're gonna start seeing more of are artists, and I think this is particularly important for music. And or I could just be biased because I love music, obviously, like most people love music. But I hate how there's so many good artists, like so many good musicians who just never make it big, and so they can't like make a living off making music, and so they have to
Hmm.
like get some other job or whatever. But they're so fucking good. It's just that they're not good at like the whole like Instagram game, like
Marketing,
game.
whatever.
Yeah, and that's the only way you become popular. That's the only way you can make a living off of being a musician in it, because you get to like become popular enough where you can make money off touring and stuff, because you don't make money off Spotify, right? So Web3 music is starting to blow up, and what's kind of starting to happen is they're like issuing these NFTs, which are way more expensive, with the idea being you have these like super fans that will be willing to pay a lot more for these NFTs. And if you speak to like any kind of like Web3 musician, which basically means like these didn't exist like 6 months ago, like they're fairly new. But a lot of them have said like they made way more money off an NFT drop than they've made in like 10 years of music, right?
Yeah.
Because and by selling way less like NFTs than records, because NFTs cost you can probably charge like a few $100, $200 for them, whatever. And so the idea is that you can just have these like super fans, right, who kind of buy into your NFT, and then like almost like form a DAO with those NFTs. They like your fans, right? And they can like have a say and like dictate kind of a lot of the things you do as a musician. Like help with the creative process, or help maybe with like trying to like decide events, things like that. So you have these like creator DAOs, right? And I think potentially you might have these like really good musicians who just never could never get that big of a following, but maybe had a few like maybe like 10,000 super hardcore fans who originally like, or right now, right, with the current music industry, 10,000 fans just like isn't enough to make a
Hmm.
living off of.
Not on the old model.
Now the old model, right? But with this new model, like buying, if you have 10,000 people who are willing to pay like $200 for an NFT, like do the math.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and to be honest, this makes me think of that famous. Well, you might not know. There's this famous blog article by a guy named Kevin Kelly. He talks about 1,000 true fans, and I'm thinking about like the first time I heard of like crypto for real was from Nipsey Hussle. He was talking about Bitcoin in like 2017 or 18. And aside from
Listen,
that, he did. Yeah, I know. Rest in peace to
yeah.
Nip, because he would have been all over this. First
Oh
of
yeah, for
all,
sure. Yeah, for sure.
he had this campaign called Proud to Pay, where he was charging people $100 for one of his mixtapes, a physical copy, and then they got like a private concert. They got autographs, they got merch, but it was a Proud to Pay campaign where he was like, to your point, like he was focused on the biggest fans, and he sold these CDs for like $100 a pop to like 1,000 people, and they sold out in like minutes.
Yep.
And it was one of those things where I'm thinking like that's basically,
Yes.
without being digital, that's basically what you're talking about. It's like an
Yeah.
NFT. It's a collectible that you're selling to your hardcore fans, and then they
Yeah.
get to have a different type of connection with you.
No, and because the artist too is issuing the NFTs, right? Like it's not there's no record label that's taking away like I don't know, like 80% of the profits, right? Like so it allows like the artist to kind of reap. I mean, maybe they're paying like some dev or like whatever, some like and like the NFT platform, but it's like that take rate, the percent they're taking is way less than like what a record label takes. Like it's not
Yeah.
so they're able to just make way more money in a way that allows these super hardcore fans to also have like a voice in the artist and in like their kind of like direction and what they do. So I think these kind of like creator DAOs, especially for in the music industry, I think has like the potential to really kind of just revolutionize that whole industry, or revolutionize music, and hopefully allow again these like really good musicians, or just like amazing, incredible musicians, right? That just like never had a chance because again they like couldn't do the whole marketing, kind of just frankly bullshit like game you have to play to like like be able to get enough artists on hits on Spotify, like that whole game, and can like just do what they want to do and cater to their hardcore fans.
I just think of like a Beyonce Beehive or Nicki Minaj Barbie DAO. Like that would go
Insane,
stupid. Taylor Swift DAO.
Taylor Swift would break Solana.
Yeah,